Doug Ford addressed the media following a virtual meeting of Canada's First Ministers chaired by Prime Minister Mark Carney. The meeting came after Carney's talks with US President Donald Trump.
To President Trump, I can only say this. This is not a smart move. It's selfish. It's not only hurts Canadians.
With President Trump taking direct aim at our economy, his goal is to take every single business out of our country,
Ontario Premier Doug Ford delivered a blistering assessment of the current geopolitical landscape, stating with absolute and unprecedented clarity that Donald Trump's recent public declarations are not merely political theater or empty words, but rather a deliberate, explicit, and strategic plan to fundamentally undermine Canada's economic core, dismantle its vital manufacturing and automotive industries, and ultimately erode its national sovereignty. Welcome viewers to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. Ford's address to a distinguished audience of policy leaders in Toronto was a powerful and courageous departure from the typical cautious language of Canadian politics. He explicitly stated, "It's not just words. He wants to do it," his voice imbued with a sense of urgent alarm. He wants to destroy our auto sector. He wants to destroy our manufacturing sector. He wants to try to take over Canada. This unvarnished analysis serves as a powerful and direct refutation of any attempts to downplay Trump's intentions, framing his actions as a hostile and calculated agenda designed to benefit the US at Canada's expense, regardless of the significant costs to its closest and most vital ally. The Premier's profound sense of alarm is far from speculative. It is grounded in Trump's own recent and inflammatory rhetoric, a pattern of behavior that has become a defining characteristic of his political style. Just the previous day, while speaking to White House reporters, Trump had made the chilling and arrogant claim that Canada, without the economic and military support of the United States, would cease to exist. He also openly mused about an even more dramatic escalation of the 25% tariffs he had already imposed on Canadian automobiles, making it clear that his objective was to forcibly repatriate production and jobs. "They took a large percentage of the car making, and I want to bring it back to this country," Trump said with a palpable sense of grievance, adding, "I really don't want cars from Canada." This aggressive posture is not simply a threat to a single industry. It is a direct assault on the decades of economic integration, shared supply chains, and mutual prosperity that have defined the North American relationship. The real-world consequences are already being felt across the Canadian economy. The nation's economy shrank by 1.6% in the second quarter of 2025, the first contraction in nearly 2 years, with exports, particularly of passenger cars and light trucks, plummeting by 24.7% in direct response to these tariffs. The negative ripple effects have been felt throughout the intricate supply chain, from raw material suppliers in Quebec and Saskatchewan to sophisticated parts manufacturers in Ontario, jeopardizing thousands of jobs and the viability of small and medium-sized businesses that depend on cross-border trade. The all-consuming referendum on national resilience and identity. The specter of a full-blown trade war and the prospect of an openly hostile U.S. administration have utterly consumed Canada's ongoing snap election campaign, transforming it from a routine democratic contest into an all-encompassing referendum on the country's economic security, national resilience, and fundamental identity. This dramatic shift has rendered all pre-existing political calculations and electoral strategies obsolete. Prior to Trump's return to the White House in January, the political consensus was that the next election would likely see the end of a long-standing liberal government and the rise of a conservative party under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre. However, Trump's aggressive stance and his explicit threats have fundamentally reshaped the political landscape, making him a central, albeit absent, figure in the campaign. The entire 37-day campaign, which is rapidly approaching its conclusion on Monday, is no longer about conventional issues like healthcare, climate change, or taxes, but about a singular, pressing question that has captivated the national consciousness: who is the most capable leader to confront this extraordinary and unprecedented crisis and protect Canada's sovereignty and way of life? Liberal leader Mark Carney, a former central banker with a global reputation for navigating financial crises, has adroitly cast himself as the nation's indispensable crisis manager. He has tirelessly repeated the warning that the president wants to break us so America can own us, arguing that his unique background in international finance and economic policy, rather than traditional political experience, makes him uniquely suited to navigate this geopolitical storm. In a masterfully executed strategic maneuver, Carney explicitly used Trump's latest remarks as a powerful piece of evidence to reinforce his core message. The president's comments yesterday just underscore how important the choice that Canadians have on Monday is: who can stand up to President Trump, who can build Canada strong, who has the experience in order to do that. His campaign is built on the premise that in a time of external threat, the country needs a steady hand with a proven track record of steering an economy through turbulent times, a role he fulfilled admirably as Governor of the Bank of Canada during the 2008 financial crisis and later as Governor of the Bank of England during the tumultuous Brexit years. The Liberal platform has been entirely recalibrated to address this threat, promising a Canada Strong plan that includes diversifying trade away from the U.S., making strategic capital investments to enhance national self-reliance, particularly in critical sectors like manufacturing and technology, and establishing a new national defense fund to strengthen Canada's ability to protect its own interests. This platform represents a seismic shift away from traditional cross-border cooperation and toward a more self-sufficient, and potentially more isolationist, future. A convergence of political narratives and the reality of fear. With Election Day mere days away, the impassioned comments from Ontario's progressive Conservative Premier have provided a timely and powerful boost to the central message of the Liberal campaign, demonstrating a rare and significant cross-partisan alignment on an issue of national importance. Ford's decision to speak so forcefully on the matter is a testament to the gravity of the situation. During his speech at the Canada Growth Summit 2025, Ford conveyed a profound sense of unease and frustration, remarking on how pretty scary it is that a single sentence from the U.S. president can send shockwaves through global financial markets, with the S&P/TSX Composite Index losing nearly 300 points in minutes after Trump's comments. He employed a striking colloquialism to describe Trump's perceived instability, stating, "I think the cheese slips off the cracker with this guy," a phrase that vividly conveys the erratic and unpredictable nature of the U.S. leader. Ford further elaborated on this point, noting that he wakes up in the morning and even people around him are not too sure what he's going to do, or what he's going to say. This observation underscores the deep and unsettling uncertainty that now permeates Canada's relationship with its largest trading partner, an uncertainty that has been magnified by a U.S. federal appeals court's recent ruling that many of Trump's tariffs are illegal, a decision he has vowed to fight with every legal and political tool at his disposal. Ford's own political narrative is a testament to the gravity of this threat. He recently secured a third consecutive landslide victory in a provincial snap election, a campaign built on the explicit promise that he needed a renewed and powerful mandate to fight Trump's trade policies. This is the very same strategic blueprint that Mark Carney has now adopted at the federal level, launching his own election campaign just over a week after assuming leadership from former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. While Ford has been careful to avoid formally endorsing a candidate in the federal race, his public statements and recent actions have been widely interpreted as an implicit alignment with the Liberal Party's core message. He has also not shied away from public criticism of Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, telling reporters just 10 days prior that, "Sometimes the truth hurts," when Poilievre was facing scrutiny from within his own party for his perceived slowness in addressing the threat from the White House. The fear of an economic trade war is a palpable reality in Ontario, Canada's most populous province, where Ford has consistently warned that the imposition of tariffs could imperil over 500,000 jobs. During his speech, Ford painted a dire picture of the consequences. He's openly taking aim at Ontario's economy, threatening tariffs, disrupting supply chains, putting all of us at risk, including the American people. He concluded his remarks with a revealing and deeply unsettling insight, sharing that even Republican politicians privately concede that Trump's trade policies are self-destructive and harmful to American interests, but are too afraid to voice their opposition publicly. As Ford starkly put it, "I guess he has put the fear of God into these people," a candid observation that highlights the powerful and almost paralyzing influence Trump wields over his own political allies. This multifaceted threat, combining direct economic aggression with political intimidation, presents an unprecedented and fundamental challenge to the very foundation of Canadian nationhood and its historical relationship with the United States, forcing the country to confront its dependencies, re-evaluate its strategic partnerships, and ultimately redefine its future on the global